The Book of Dani'el, or Daniel. Chapter 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehuda, Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And Yahuwah gave Jehoiakim, sovereign of Yehuda, into his hand, with some of the utensils of the house of Elohim, which he brought to the land of Shinar, to the house of his mighty one. And he brought the utensils into the treasure house of his mighty one. And the sovereign said to Ashpenaz, the chief of his eunuchs, to bring some of the children of Israel, and some of the sovereign's descendants, and some of the nobles, young men in whom there was no blemish, but good looking, having insight in all wisdom, having knowledge and understanding learning, capable to stand in the sovereign's palace, and to teach them the writing and speech of the Kasdim. And the sovereign appointed for them a daily ration of the sovereign's food, and of the wine which he drank, and 3 years of training for them, so that at the end thereof they should stand before the sovereign. Now among them were from the sons of Yehuda, Dani'el, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And the chief of the eunuchs gave them names, for he called Dani'el Belshazzar, and Hananiah Shadrach, and Mishael Meshach, and Azariah Abednego. But Daniel laid it upon his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the sovereign's food, nor with the wine which he drank. So he asked permission from the chief of the eunuchs not to defile himself. And Elohim granted Daniel loving commitment and compassion from the chief of the eunuchs. But the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my master the sovereign, who has appointed your food and drink. For why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would make my head guilty before the sovereign. And Daniel said to the overseer, whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Please try your servants for 10 days, and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearances be examined before you, and the appearances of the young men who eat the portion of the sovereign's food, and do with your servants as you see fit. And he listened to them in this matter, and tried them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days their appearances looked better and fatter in flesh than all the young men who ate the portion of the sovereign's food. And it came to be that the overseer took away their portion of food, and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 young men, Elohim gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. And at the end of the days, when the sovereign had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the sovereign spoke with them, and none among them all were found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they stood before the sovereign. And in any word of wisdom and understanding about which the sovereign examined them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians, the astrologers, who were in all his reign. And Daniel continued until the 1st year of sovereign Koresh. Chapter 2. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his spirit was so troubled that his sleep left him. And the sovereign gave orders to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the practicers of witchcraft, and the Kasdim to declare to the sovereign his dreams. So they came and stood before the sovereign. And the sovereign said to them, I have had a dream, and my spirit is troubled to know the dream. And the Kasdim spoke to the sovereign in Aramaic, O sovereign, live forever. Relate the dream to your servants, and we shall reveal the interpretation. The sovereign answered and said to the Kasdim, My decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream and its interpretation to me, your limbs shall be taken from you, and your houses made dunghills. But if you reveal the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive gifts and rewards and great esteem from me. So reveal to me the dream and its interpretation. They answered again and said, Let the sovereign relate to his servants the dream, and we shall reveal its interpretation. The sovereign answered and said, I know for certain that you would gain time, because you see that my decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me, there is only one decree for you have agreed to speak lying and corrupt words before me, till the time has changed. So relate the dream to me, then I shall know that you shall reveal its interpretation for me. The Kasdim answered the sovereign and said, There is no one on earth who is able to reveal the matter of the sovereign, because no sovereign, master, or ruler has ever asked a matter like this of any magician or astrologer or Kasdim. And the matter that the sovereign is asking is difficult, and there is no other who is able to reveal it to the sovereign except the Elohim, whose dwelling is not with flesh. Because of this, the sovereign was enraged and very wroth, and gave orders to destroy all the wise ones of Babel. So the decree went out, and they began killing the wise ones. And they sought Dani'el and his companions to kill them. Then with counsel and wisdom, Dani'el answered Arioch, the chief of the sovereign's guard, who had gone out to kill the wise ones of Babel. He answered and said to Arioch, the sovereign's officer, Why is the decree from the sovereign so urgent? So Arioch made the decision known to Dani'el. And Dani'el went in and asked the sovereign to give him time, and he would show the sovereign the interpretation. Then Dani'el went to his house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, to seek compassion from the Allah of the heavens concerning this secret, so that Dani'el and his companions should not perish with the rest of the wise ones of Babel. Then the secret was revealed to Dani'el in a night vision, and Dani'el blessed the Allah of the heavens. Dani'el responded and said, Blessed be the name of Allah forever and ever, for wisdom and might are His. And He changes the times and the seasons. He removes sovereigns and raises up sovereigns. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who possess understanding. He reveals deep and secret matters. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with Him. I thank you and praise you, O Allah of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we asked of you, for you have made known to us the sovereign's matter. So Dani'el went to Arioch, whom the sovereign had appointed to destroy the wise ones of Babel. He went and said this to him, Do not destroy the wise ones of Babel. Bring me in before the sovereign, and I shall show the interpretation to the sovereign. Then Arioch brought Dani'el in a hurry before the sovereign, and said thus to him, I have found a man among the sons of the exile of Yehuda, who does make known to the sovereign the interpretation. The sovereign answered, and said to Dani'el, whose name was Belteshazzar, Are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen, and its interpretation? Dani'el answered before the sovereign, and said, The secret which the sovereign is asking, the wise ones, the astrologers, the magicians, and the diviners are unable to show it to the sovereign. But there is an Allah in the heavens who reveals secrets, and he has made known to sovereign Nebuchadnezzar what is to be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed were these. As for you, O sovereign, on your bed your thoughts came up. What is going to take place after this? And he who reveals secrets has made known to you what shall be after this. As for me, this secret has not been revealed to me because I have more wisdom than anyone living, but for our sakes who make known the interpretation to the sovereign, and that you should know the thoughts of your heart. You, O sovereign, were looking on, and saw a great image. This great image, and its brightness excellent, was standing before you, and its form was awesome. This image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. You were looking on until a stone was cut out without hands, and it smote the image on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together, and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. And the wind took them away, so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled all the earth. This is the dream, and its interpretation we declare before the sovereign. You, O sovereign, are a sovereign of sovereigns, for the Allah of heavens has given you a reign, power, and strength, and preciousness. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. And after you rises up another ring lower than yours, and another third ring of bronze that rules over all the earth. And the fourth ring is as strong as iron, because iron crushes and shatters all. So, like iron that breaks in pieces, it crushes and breaks all these. Yet, as you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the ring is to be divided. But some of the strength of the iron is to be in it, because you saw the iron mixed with muddy clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the ring is partly strong and partly brittle. And as you saw iron mixed with muddy clay, these are mixing themselves with the seed of men, but they are not clinging to each other, even as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of these sovereigns the Allah of heavens shall set up a ring which shall never be destroyed, nor the ring pass on to other people. It crushes and puts to an end all these rings, and it shall stand forever. Because you saw that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it crushed the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great Allah has made known to the sovereign what shall be after this. And the dream is true, and its interpretation is trustworthy." Then sovereign Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face and did obeisance before Dani'el, and gave orders to present to him an offering and incense. The sovereign answered Dani'el and said, "Truly your Allah is the Allah of Elohim, the master of sovereigns, and a revealer of secrets, since you were able to reveal this secret." Then the sovereign made Dani'el great, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over all the province of Babel, and chief of the nobles over all the wise ones of Babel. And Dani'el asked of the sovereign, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the work of the province of Babel, and Dani'el in the gate of the sovereign. Chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar the sovereign made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and its width 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babel. And sovereign Nebuchadnezzar sent word to gather together the viceroys, the nobles, and the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which sovereign Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the viceroys, the nobles, and the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces gathered together for the dedication of the image that sovereign Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then a herald loudly proclaimed, "To you it is commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that as soon as you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, the pipes, and all kinds of instruments, you shall fall down and do obeisance to the gold image that sovereign Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and do obeisance is immediately thrown into the midst of a burning furnace of fire." So as soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, all kinds of instruments, all the peoples, nations, and languages fell down and did obeisance to the gold image that sovereign Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Thereupon, at that time, certain Kasdim came forward and accused the Yehudim. They spoke and said to sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, "O sovereign, live forever. You, O sovereign, have made a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, the pipes, and all kinds of instruments, shall fall down and do obeisance to the gold image. And whoever does not fall down and do obeisance is thrown into the midst of a burning furnace of fire. There are certain Yehudim whom you have set over the work of the province of Babel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O sovereign, pay no heed to you. They do not serve your Elohim, and they are not doing obeisance to the gold image which you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in rage and wrath, gave orders to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the sovereign. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my Elohim, and you do not do obeisance to the gold image which I have set up? Now if you are ready when you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, the pipes, and all kinds of instruments, and you fall down and do obeisance to the image which I have made, good. But if you do not do obeisance, you are immediately thrown into the midst of a burning furnace of fire. And who is the Allah who does deliver you from my hands?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the sovereign, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. For if so, our Allah, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning furnace of fire, and from your hand, O sovereign. He does deliver. But if not, let it be known to you, O sovereign, that we do not serve your Elohim, nor do we do obeisance to the gold image which you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with wrath, and the expression on his face changed toward Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He responded and gave orders that they heat the furnace 7 times more than it was usual to heat it. And he commanded some of the strongest men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and throw them into the burning furnace of fire. So these men were bound in their coats, their trousers, and their turbans, and their other garments, and were thrown into the midst of the burning furnace of fire. Thereupon, because the sovereign's order was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning furnace of fire. Then sovereign Nebuchadnezzar was amazed, and stood up in haste, and spoke and said to his counselors, "Did we not throw 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" They answered and said to the sovereign, "Certainly, O sovereign." He answered and said, "Look, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the son of Elohim." Then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning furnace of fire. He spoke and said, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High Allah, come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came from the midst of the fire. And the viceroys, the nobles, and the governors, and the sovereign's counselors gathered together, seeing these men on whose bodies the fire had no power, and the hair of their head was not singed, nor were their garments changed, nor did the smell of fire come on them. Nebuchadnezzar responded and said, "Blessed be the Allah of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his messenger and delivered his servants who trusted in him, and changed the sovereign's order, and gave up their bodies, that they should not serve nor do obeisance to any Allah except their own Allah. Therefore I make a decree that whoever of any people, nation, or language, who speaks any wrong against the Allah of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, his limbs shall be taken, and his house made a dunghill, because there is no other Allah who is able to deliver like this." Then the sovereign promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babel. Chapter 4. Nebuchadnezzar the sovereign, to all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be increased to you. I thought it good to declare the signs and wonders which the Most High Allah has worked for me. How great are his signs, and how mighty his wonders! His reign is an everlasting reign, and his rulership is from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and prospering in my palace. I saw a dream, and it frightened me, and the thoughts on my bed and the visions of my head alarmed me. So I issued a decree to bring in all the wise ones of Babel before me, to make known to me the interpretation of the dream. So the magicians, the astrologers, the costume, and the diviners came in, and I related the dream to them, but its interpretation they did not make known to me. And at last, Dani'el, whose name is Belteshazzar, according to the name of my Allah, came before me. In him is the spirit of the set-apart Elohim. So I related the dream to him, saying, Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the set-apart Elohim is in you, and no secret is too difficult for you, explain to me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and its interpretation. Now the visions of my head on my bed were these. I looked, and saw a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height great. The tree became great and strong, and its height reached to the heavens, and it was visible to the ends of all the earth. Its leaves were lovely, and its fruit plenty, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of the heavens dwelt in its branches, and all flesh was fed from it. In the visions of my head on my bed, I looked and saw a watcher, even a set-apart one, coming down from the heavens. He cried aloud and said this, Hew down the tree and cut off its branches, strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it, and the birds from its branches. But leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and bronze, in the tender grass of the field. And let it be wet with the dew of the heavens, and let his portion be with the beasts on the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from a man's. Let him be given the heart of a beast, and 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the command by the word of the set-apart ones, so that the living know that the Most High is ruler in the ring of men, and gives it to whomever he wishes, and sets over it the lowest of men. This dream have I seen, I, sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, and you, Belteshazzar, reveal its interpretation, since all the wise ones of my reign are unable to make known to me the interpretation. But you are able, for the spirit of the set-apart Elohim is in you. Then Dani'el, whose name was Belteshazzar, was stunned for a short time, and his thoughts alarmed him. The sovereign responded and said, Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation alarm you. Belteshazzar answered and said, My master, the dream is to those who hate you, and its interpretation to your enemies. The tree you saw, which became great and strong, whose height reached to the heavens and was visible to all the earth, whose leaves were lovely and its fruit plenty, and in it was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and on whose branches the birds of the heavens sat. It is you, O sovereign, for you have become great and strong, and your greatness has grown, and has reached to the heavens, and your rulership to the end of the earth. And as the sovereign saw a watcher, even a set-apart one, coming down from the heavens, and he said, Hew down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and bronze in the tender grass of the field. and let it be wet with the dew of the heavens, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O Sovereign, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my master the Sovereign, that you are going to be driven away from men, and your dwelling be with the beasts of the field, and you be given grass to eat like oxen, and you be wetted with the dew of the heavens, and 7 times pass over you, till you know that the Most High is ruler in the ring of men, and that he gives it to whomever he wishes. And they that gave the command to leave the stump of its roots of the tree, your ring remains yours, from the time you come to know that the heavens are ruling. Therefore, O Sovereign, let my counsel be acceptable to you, and break off your sins by righteousness, and your crookednesses by showing favor to the poor. Your prosperity might be extended. All this came upon Sovereign Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of the 12 months he was walking about the palace of the Ring of Babel. The sovereign spoke and said, Is not this great Babel, which I myself have built, for the house of the ring, by the might of my power, and for the esteem of my splendor? The word was still in the sovereign's mouth, when a voice fell from the heavens. Sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the ring has been taken away from you, and you are driven away from men, and your dwelling is to be with the beasts of the field. You are given grass to eat like oxen, and 7 seasons shall pass over you, until you know that the Most High is ruler in the ring of men, and he gives it to whomever he wishes. In that hour, the word was executed on Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and he ate grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of the heavens, till his hair had grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to the heavens, and my understanding returned to me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and made him great, who lives forever, whose rule is an everlasting rule, and his reign is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are of no account, and he does as he wishes with the host of the heavens, and among the inhabitants of the earth. And there is none to strike against his hand, or say to him, What have you done? At the same time my understanding returned to me, and for the preciousness of my reign, my esteem and splendor were returning to me. And my counselors and nobles sought me out, and I was re-established to my reign, and excellent greatness was added to me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, am praising and exalting and esteeming the Sovereign of the heavens, for all his works are truth, and his ways right. And those who walk in pride he is able to humble. Chapter 5. Belshazzar, the sovereign, made a great feast for 1,000 of his great men, and drank wine in the presence of the 1,000. While tasting the wine, Belshazzar gave orders to bring the gold and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the Hekal, which had been in Jerusalem, that the sovereign and his great men, his wives, and his concubines could drink from them. Then they brought the gold vessels that had been taken from the Hekal of the house of Elah, which had been in Jerusalem. And the sovereign and his great men, his wives, and his concubines drank out of them. They drank wine and praised the Elohim of gold and of silver, of bronze, of iron, of wood, and of stone. At that moment, the fingers of a man's hand appeared and wrote opposite the lampstand on the plaster of the wall of the sovereign's palace. And the sovereign saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the sovereign's color changed, and his thoughts alarmed him, so that the joints of his hips were loosened and his knees knocked against each other. The sovereign called loudly to bring in the astrologers, the Kasdim, and the diviners. The sovereign spoke and said to the wise ones of Babel, "Whoever reads this writing and shows me its interpretation is robed in purple and has a chain of gold around his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the ring." So all the sovereign's wise ones came, but they were unable to read the writing, or to make known its interpretation to the sovereign. Then sovereign Belshazzar was greatly alarmed, and his color changed, and his great men were puzzled. The sovereignness, because of the words of the sovereign and his great men, came to the banquet hall. And the sovereignness spoke and said, "O sovereign, live forever. Do not let your thoughts alarm you, nor let your color change. There is a man in your reign in whom is the spirit of the set-apart Elohim, and in the days of your father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of Elohim, were found in him. And sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, your father the sovereign, made him chief of the magicians, astrologers, Kasdim, and diviners, because in excellent spirit, knowledge and understanding, interpreting dreams and explaining riddles, and solving difficult problems were found in this Dani'el, whom the sovereign named Belshazzar. Now let Dani'el be called, and let him show the interpretation." So Dani'el was brought in before the sovereign. The sovereign spoke and said to Dani'el, "Are you that Dani'el who is one of the sons of the exile from Yehuda, whom my father the sovereign brought from Yehuda? I have heard of you, that the spirit of Elohim is in you, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom are found in you. And the wise ones, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known to me its interpretation, but they were unable to show the interpretation of the word. And I myself have heard of you, that you are able to give interpretations and to solve difficult problems. Now if you are able to read the writing and make known its interpretation to me, you are to be robed in purple and have a chain of gold around your neck, and shall be the third ruler in the ring." Then Dani'el answered and said before the sovereign, "Let your gifts be for yourself, and give your rewards to another. Yet I shall read the writing to the sovereign, and make known the interpretation to him. O sovereign, the Most High Allah gave Nebuchadnezzar your father a ring and greatness, and preciousness and esteem. And because of the greatness which he gave him, all peoples, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whomever he wished, he killed, and whomever he wished, he kept alive, and whomever he wished, he raised up, and whomever he wished, he made low. But when his heart was lifted up, and his spirit was so strong as to act proudly, he was put down from his throne of reign, and they took his preciousness from him. Then he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was with the wild donkeys. He was given grass to eat like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of the heavens, till he knew that the Most High Allah is ruler in the ring of men, and he sets up over it whomever he wishes. And you, his son, Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart, although you knew all this. And you have lifted yourself up against the master of the heavens, and they brought before you the vessels of his house, and you and your great men, your wives and your concubines, have been drinking wine from them. And you have praised the Elohim of silver, and of gold, of bronze, of iron, of wood, and of stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor know. But the Allah who holds your breath in his hand and owns all your ways, you have not made great. Then the part of the hand was sent from him, and this writing was inscribed. And this is the writing that was inscribed: Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of each word. Mene. Allah has numbered your reign and put an end to it. Tekel. You have been weighed on the scales and found lacking. Peres. Your reign has been divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then Belshazzar gave orders, and they robed Dani'el in purple, and put a chain of gold around his neck, and they proclaimed concerning him that he is the third ruler in the ring. In that night, Belshazzar, sovereign of the Kasdim, was killed, and Daryawesh the Mede took over the ring, being about 62 years old. Chapter 6. It pleased Daryawesh to appoint over the ring 120 viceroys, to be over all the ring, and over them 3 governors, of whom Dani'el was one, so that these viceroys should give account to them, and the sovereign suffer no loss. Then this Dani'el distinguished himself above the governors and viceroys, because an excellent spirit was in him. And the sovereign planned to appoint him over all the ring. Then the governors and viceroys sought to find occasion against Dani'el concerning the ring. But they were unable to find occasion or corruption, because he was steadfast, and no negligence or corruption was found in him. Then these men said, We shall not find any occasion against this Dani'el, unless we find it against him concerning the law of his Allah. Then these governors and viceroys tumultuously gathered before the sovereign, and said this to him: Sovereign Daryawesh, live forever. All the governors of the ring, the nobles and viceroys, the counselors and advisors, have consulted together to establish a royal decree and to make a strong interdict, that whoever petitions any Allah or man for 30 days, except you, O sovereign, is thrown into the den of lions. Now, O sovereign, establish the interdict and sign the writing, so that it is not to be changed, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which does not pass away. So sovereign Daryawesh signed the written interdict. And Dani'el, when he knew that the writing was signed, went home, and in his upper room with his windows open toward Yerushalayim, he knelt down on his knees 3 times a day, and prayed and gave thanks before his Allah, as he had done before. Then these men tumultuously gathered and found Dani'el praying and entreating before his Allah. Then they approached the sovereign and spoke concerning the sovereign's interdict. Have you not signed an interdict that every man who petitions any Allah or man within 30 days, except you, O sovereign, is thrown into the den of lions?" The sovereign answered and said, "The word is certain, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which does not pass away." Then they answered and said before the sovereign, "Dani'el, who is one of the sons of the exile from Yehuda, pays no heed to you, O sovereign, nor for the interdict that you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day." Then the sovereign, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself, and set his heart on Dani'el to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men tumultuously gathered before the sovereign, and said to the sovereign, "Know, O sovereign, that it is the law of the Medes and Persian, that any interdict or decree which the sovereign establishes is not to be changed." Then the sovereign gave orders, and they brought Dani'el and threw him into the den of lions. But the sovereign spoke and said to Dani'el, "Your Allah, whom you serve continually, he himself delivers you." And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the sovereign sealed it with his own signet, and with the signets of his great men, that the situation concerning Dani'el might not be changed. And the sovereign went to his palace and spent the night fasting. And no entertainment was brought before him, and his sleep fled from him. Then the sovereign rose up very early in the morning, and hurried to the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he called with a grieved voice to Dani'el. The sovereign spoke and said to Dani'el, "Dani'el, servant of the living Allah, has your Allah, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" Then Dani'el said to the sovereign, "O sovereign, live forever. My Allah has sent his messenger and has shut the lions' mouths, and they did not harm me, because I was found innocent before him. And also before you, O sovereign, I have done no harm." Then the sovereign was very glad, and gave orders that Dani'el be taken up out of the den. And Dani'el was taken up out of the den, and no harm was found on him, because he trusted in his Allah. And the sovereign gave orders, and they brought those men who had accused Dani'el, and they threw them, their children and their wives, into the den of lions. And the lions overpowered them, and broke all their bones in pieces before they reached the floor of the den. Then sovereign YHWH wrote to all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, "Peace be increased to you. From before me is made a decree that throughout every rule of my reign, men are to tremble and fear before the Allah of Dani'el, for he is the living Allah, and steadfast forever. And his reign is one which is not destroyed, and his rule is unto the end. He delivers and rescues, and he works signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth, for he has delivered Dani'el from the power of the lions." And this Dani'el prospered in the reign of YHWH, and in the reign of Koresh the Persian. Chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, sovereign of Babel, Dani'el had a dream and visions of his head on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, giving a summary of the matters. Dani'el spoke and said, "I was looking in my vision by night, and saw the 4 winds of the heavens stirring up the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I was looking until its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and it was given a man's heart. And see, another beast, a second, like a bear. And it was raised up on one side, and had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And they said this to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked, and saw another, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and rule was given to it. After this I looked in the night visions, and saw a 4th beast, fearsome and burly, exceedingly strong, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I was thinking about the horns, then saw another horn, a little one, coming up among them, and 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots before it. And see, eyes like the eyes of a man were in this horn, and a mouth speaking great words. I was looking until thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. His throne was flames of fire, its wheels burning fire. A stream of fire was flowing and coming forth from his presence, and 1,000 thousands served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judge was seated, and the books were opened. I was looking. Then, because of the sound of the great words which the horn was speaking, I was looking until the beast was killed, and its body destroyed, and given to the burning fire. And the rest of the beasts had their rule taken away. But a lengthening of life was given to them for a season and a time. I was looking in the night visions, and saw one like the son of Enosh, coming with the clouds of the heavens. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And to him was given rulership and preciousness, and a reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His rule is an everlasting rule which shall not pass away, and his reign that which shall not be destroyed. As for me, Dani'el, my spirit was pierced within my body, and the visions of my head alarmed me. I drew near to one of those who stood by, and asked him the certainty of all this. And he spoke to me, and made known to me the interpretation of the matters. These great beasts, which are 4 sovereigns which rise up from the earth. Then the set-apart ones of the Most High shall receive the ring, and possess the ring forever, even forever and ever. Then I desired for certainty concerning the 4th beast, which was different from all the others, very fearsome, with its teeth of iron and its nails of bronze, which devoured, crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And concerning the 10 horns that were on its head, and of the other horn that came up, before which 3 fell, this horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke great words, whose appearance was greater than his fellows. I was looking, and this horn was fighting against the set-apart ones, and was prevailing against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and right ruling was given to the set-apart ones of the Most High. And the time came, and the set-apart ones took possession of the ring. This is what he said. The 4th beast is the 4th ring on earth, which is different from all other rings, and it devours all the earth, tramples it down, and crushes it. And the 10 horns are 10 sovereigns from this ring. They shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and it is different from the first ones, and it humbles 3 sovereigns, and it speaks words against the Most High, and it wears out the set-apart ones of the Most High, and it intends to change appointed times and law, and they are given into its hand for a time, and times, and half a time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule, to cut off and to destroy, until the end. And the ring and the rulership and the greatness of the rings under all the heavens shall be given to the people, the set-apart ones of the Most High. His ring is an everlasting ring, and all rulerships shall serve and obey him. This is the end of the matter. As for me, Dani'el, my thoughts greatly alarmed me, and my color changed, and I kept the matter in my heart. Chapter 8. In the 3rd year of the reign of Belshazzar the sovereign, a vision appeared to me, Dani'el, after the one that appeared to me the first time. And I looked in the vision, and it came to be, while I was looking, that I was in the citadel of Shushan, which is in the province of Elam. And I looked in the vision, and I was by the river Ulai. And I lifted my eyes, and looked, and saw a ram standing beside the river. And it had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high. And the one was higher than the other, and the higher one came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward, and northward, and southward, so that no beast could stand before him, and there was no one to deliver from his hand, while he did as he pleased, and became great. And I was observing, and saw a male goat came from the west, over the surface of all the earth, without touching the ground. And the goat had a conspicuous horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing beside the river, and ran at him in the rage of his power. And I saw him come close to the ram, and he became embittered against him, and struck the ram, and broke his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to withstand him, but he threw him down to the ground, and trampled on him. And there was no one to deliver the ram from his hand. And the male goat became very great. But when he was strong, the large horn was broken, and in place of it 4 conspicuous ones came up toward the 4 winds of the heavens. And from one of them came a little horn, which became exceedingly great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the splendid land. And it became great up to the host of the heavens, and it caused some of the host and some of the stars to fall to the earth, and trampled them down. It even exalted itself as high as the prince of the host, and it took that which is continual away from him, and threw down the foundation of his set-apart place. And because of transgression, an army was given over to the horn to oppose that which is continual, and it threw the truth down to the ground, and it acted and prospered. Then I heard a certain set-apart one speaking, and another set-apart one said to that certain one who was speaking, "Till when is the vision concerning that which is continual, and the transgression that lays waste, to make both the set-apart place and the host to be trampled under foot?" And he said to me, "For 2,300 nights, then that which is set apart shall be made right." And it came to be, when I, Dani'el, had seen the vision, that I sought understanding, and see, before me stood one having the appearance of a mighty man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, who called and said, "Gabriel, make this man understand the vision." He then came near where I stood. And when he came, I feared, and I fell on my face. But he said to me, "Understand, son of man, for the vision is for the time of the end." And, as he was speaking with me, I fell stunned upon my face to the ground, but he touched me, and made me stand up straight, and said, "Look, I am making known to you what shall take place in the latter time of the wrath, for at the appointed time shall be the end. The ram which you saw, having 2 horns, are the sovereigns of Media and Persia. And the male goat is the sovereign of Greece, and the large horn between its eyes is the first sovereign. And that it was broken and 4 stood up in its place, are 4 rulerships arising out of that nation, but not in its power. And in the latter time of their rule, when the transgressors have filled up their measure, a sovereign, fierce of face and skilled at intrigues, shall stand up. And by his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy incredibly, and shall prosper and thrive, and destroy mighty men and the set-apart people. And through his skill he shall make deceit prosper in his hand, and hold himself to be great in his heart, and destroy many who are at ease, and even stand against the Prince of Princes, yet without hand he shall be broken. And what was said in the vision of the evening and morning is truth, and hide the vision, for it is after many days. And I, Dani'el, was stricken and became sick for days. Then I rose up and went about the sovereign's work. And I was amazed at the vision, but there was no understanding. Chapter 9. In the 1st year of Dariawesh, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, who was set up as sovereign over the reign of the Kasdim, in the 1st year of his reign, I, Dani'el, observed from the scriptures the number of the years, according to the word of Yahuwah given to Yirmiah the prophet, for the completion of the wastes of Yerushalayim would be 70 years. So I set my face toward Yahuwah the Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed to Yahuwah my Elohim, and made confession, and said, O Yahuwah, great and awesome El, guarding the covenant and the loving commitment to those who love him, and to those who guard his commands. We have sinned and did crookedness, and did wrong and rebelled, to turn aside from your commands and from your right rulings. And we have not listened to your servants the prophets, who spoke in your name to our sovereigns, our heads, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Yahuwah, to you is the righteousness, and to us the shame of face, as it is this day, to the men of Yehuda, to the inhabitants of Yerushalayim and all Yisrael, those near and those far off in all the lands to which you have driven them, because of their trespass which they have trespassed against you. O Master, to us is the shame of face, to our sovereigns, to our heads, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. To Yahuwah our Elohim are the compassions and forgivenesses, for we have rebelled against him. And we have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim, to walk in his Torah, which he set before us through his servants the prophets. And all Yisrael have transgressed your Torah, and turned aside, so as not to obey your voice. So the curse and the oath written in the Torah of Moshe the servant of Elohim have been poured out on us, for we have sinned against him. And he has confirmed his words, which he spoke against us, and against our rulers who judged us, by bringing upon us great evil. For under all the heavens there has not been done like what was done to Yerushalayim. As it is written in the Torah of Moshe, all this evil has come upon us, and we have not entreated the face of Yahuwah our Elohim to turn back from our crookednesses and to steady your truth. Hence Yahuwah has watched over the evil and has brought it upon us. For Yahuwah our Elohim is righteous in all the works which he has done, but we have not obeyed his voice. And now, O Yahuwah our Elohim, who brought your people out of the land of Mitzrayim with a strong hand, and made yourself a name, as it is this day, we have sinned, we have done wrong. O Yahuwah, according to all your righteousness, I pray, let your displeasure and your wrath be turned away from your city, Yerushalayim, your set-apart mountain. For, because of our sins, and because of the crookednesses of our fathers, Yerushalayim and your people have become a reproach to all those around us. And now, our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and his supplications, and for the sake of Yahuwah, cause your face to shine on your set-apart place, which is laid waste. O my Elohim, incline your ear and hear. Open your eyes and see our wastes, and the city which is called by your name. For we do not present our supplications before you because of our righteous deeds, but because of your great compassions. O Yahuwah, hear. O Yahuwah, forgive. O Yahuwah, listen and act. Do not delay for your own sake, my Elohim, for your city and your people are called by your name. And while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Yisrael, and presenting my supplication before Yahuwah my Elohim for the set-apart mountain of my Elohim, while I was still speaking in prayer, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, came close to me in swift flight about the time of the evening offering. And he made me understand and talked with me and said, O Dani'el, I have now come forth to make you wise concerning understanding. At the beginning of your supplications a word went out, and I have come to make it known, for you are greatly appreciated. So consider the word and understand the vision. 70 weeks are decreed for your people and for your set-apart city, to put an end to the transgression, and to seal up sins, and to cover crookedness, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up vision and prophet, and to anoint the most set apart. Know, then, and understand, from the going forth of the command to restore and build Yerushalayim, until Messiah the Prince is 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It shall be built again, with streets and a trench, but in times of affliction. And after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off and have not. And the people of a coming prince shall destroy the city and the set-apart place. And the end of it is with a flood. And wastes are decreed, and fighting until the end. And he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, and in the middle of the week he shall put an end to slaughtering and meal offering. And on the wing of abominations he shall lay waste, even until the complete end, and that which is decreed is poured out on the one who lays waste. Chapter 10. In the 3rd year of Koresh, sovereign of Persia, a word was revealed to Dani'el, whose name was called Belteshazzar. And the word was true, and the conflict great. And he understood the word, and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Dani'el, was mourning 3 weeks of days. I did not eat desirable food, and meat and wine did not come into my mouth, and I did not anoint myself at all, till the completion of 3 weeks of days. And on the 24th day of the first new month, while I was by the side of the great river, that is, Hiddekel, then I lifted my eyes and looked and saw a certain man dressed in linen, whose loins were girded with gold of Uphaz. And his body was like beryl, and his face like the appearance of lightning, and his eyes like torches of fire, and his arms and feet like polished bronze in appearance, and the sound of his words like the sound of a crowd. And I, Dani'el, alone saw the vision, for the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great trembling fell upon them, and they ran away to hide themselves. So I was left alone when I saw this great vision, and no strength remained in me, for my comeliness was destroyed in me, and I retained no strength. But I heard the sound of his words, and while I heard the sound of his words, I was stunned, lying with my face to the ground. And see, a hand touched me, and set me trembling on my knees, and on the palms of my hands. And he said to me, O Dani'el, man greatly appreciated, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you. And while he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling. And he said to me, Do not fear, Dani'el, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your Elohim, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the head of the rule of Persia withstood me 21 days. And see, Mikael, one of the chief heads, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the sovereigns of Persia. And I have come to make you understand what is to befall your people in the latter days, for the vision is yet for days to come. And when he had spoken such words to me, I turned my face toward the ground and kept silent. And see, one who looked like the sons of men touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and spoke and said to him who stood before me, My master, because of the vision I have been seized with pains, and I have retained no strength. So how was this servant of my master able to speak with you, my master? As for me, no strength remains in me now, nor is any breath left in me. And again, the one who looked like a man touched me and strengthened me. And he said, Do not fear, O man greatly appreciated. Peace be to you. Be strong now, be strong. So when he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, Let my master speak, for you have strengthened me. And he said, Do you know why I have come to you? And now I return to fight with the head of Persia. And when I have left, see, the head of Greece shall come. But let me declare to you what is written in the scripture of truth, and there is not one strengthening himself with me concerning these, except Mikael, your head. Chapter 11. And in the first year of YHWH the Mede, I myself stood up to support and protect him. And now I declare the truth to you. See, 3 more sovereigns are to arise in Persia, and the 4th is to become far richer than them all. And by his power, through his riches, he stirs up all against the rulership of Greece. And a mighty sovereign shall arise, and he shall rule with great authority, and do as he pleases. But when he has arisen, his rule shall be broken up and divided toward the 4 winds of the heavens, but not among his descendants, nor according to his authority with which he ruled, because his rule shall be uprooted, even for others besides these. And a sovereign of the south shall become strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong over him, and shall rule. His rule shall be a great rule. And at the end of years they shall join themselves together, and a daughter of the sovereign of the south shall come to the sovereign of the north to make an alliance. But she shall not retain the strength of her power, nor would he or his power stand. And she shall be given up, with those who brought her, and he who brought her forth, and he who supported her in those times. But from a branch of her roots one shall arise in his place, and he shall come into the defense and come into a stronghold of the sovereign of the north, and shall act against them, and shall prevail, and also their mighty ones, with their princes and their precious utensils of silver and gold, he shall seize and bring to Mitzrayim. And he shall stand more years than the sovereign of the north. Then he shall enter the ring of the sovereign of the south, but shall return to his own land. But his sons shall stir themselves up, and assemble a great army, and he shall certainly come and overflow and pass through, then return to his stronghold, and be stirred up. Then the sovereign of the south shall be enraged, and go out to fight with him, with the sovereign of the north, who shall raise a great army. But the army shall be given into the hand of his enemy, and he shall capture the army, his heart being exalted. And he shall cause tens of thousands to fall, but not prevail. And the sovereign of the north shall return, and raise an army greater than the former, and certainly come at the end of some years with a great army and much supplies. And in those times many shall rise up against the sovereign of the south, while some violent ones among your people exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall stumble. Then the sovereign of the north shall come in and build a siege mound, and capture a city of strongholds. And the arms of the south shall not stand, nor his choice people, for there is no strength to stand. So his opponent shall do as he pleases, with no one standing against him, and stand in the splendid land with destruction in his hand. And he shall set his face to enter with the strength of his entire rule, and make an alliance with him. And he shall do so, and give him the daughter of woman to corrupt her. But she shall not stand, neither be for him. Then he shall turn his face to the coastlands, and capture many. But a ruler shall bring the reproach against them to an end. And with the reproach removed, he shall turn back on him. Then he shall turn his face toward the strongholds of his own land, but shall stumble and fall, and not be found. And in his place one shall stand up who imposes taxes on the adorned city of the rule, but within a few days he is destroyed, but not in wrath or in battle. And in his place shall arise a despised one, to whom they shall not give the excellency of the rule. But he shall come in peaceably, and seize the rule by flatteries. And the arms of the flood shall be swept away from before him and be broken, and also the prince of the covenant. And after they joined him, he shall work deceit, and shall come up and become strong with a small nation. He shall enter peaceably, even into the richest places of the province, and do what his fathers have not done, nor his forefathers, distribute among them plunder, and spoil and supplies, and devise his plots against the strongholds, but only for a time. And he shall stir up his power and his heart against the sovereign of the south with a great army, and the sovereign of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but not stand, for they shall devise plots against him. And those who have been eating his food shall destroy him, and his army be swept away, and many fall down slain. And both these sovereigns' hearts are to do evil, and speak lies at the same table, but not prosper, for the end is still for an appointed time. Then he shall return to his land with much supplies, and his heart be against the set-apart covenant. And he shall act, and shall return to his land. At the appointed time he shall return and go toward the south, but it shall not be like the former or the latter. For ships from Kittim shall come against him, and he shall lose heart, and shall return in rage against the set-apart covenant, and shall act, and shall return and consider those who forsake the set-apart covenant. And strong ones shall arise from him, and profane the set-apart place, the stronghold, and shall take away that which is continual, and set up the abomination that lays waste. And by flatteries he shall profane those who do wrong against the covenant, but the people who know their Elohim shall be strong, and shall act. And those of the people who have insight shall give understanding to many, and they shall stumble by sword and flame, by captivity and plundering, for days. And when they stumble, they shall be helped, a little help, but many shall join them by flatteries. And some of those who have insight shall stumble, to refine them, and to cleanse them, and to make them white, until the time of the end, for it is still for an appointed time. And the sovereign shall do as he pleases, and exalt himself, and show himself to be great above every mighty one, and speak incredible matters against the El of mighty ones, and shall prosper until the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been decreed shall be done. And have no regard for the mighty ones of his fathers, nor for the desire of women, nor have regard for any mighty one, but exalt himself above them all. But in his place he shall give esteem to a mighty one of strongholds, and to a mighty one which his fathers did not know he shall give esteem with gold and silver, with precious stones and costly gifts. And he shall act against the strongest strongholds with a foreign mighty one, which he shall acknowledge. He shall increase in esteem and cause them to rule over many, and divide the land for gain. At the time of the end, the sovereigns of the south shall push at him, and the sovereign of the north rush against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, and with horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall enter the lands, and shall overflow and pass over, and shall enter the splendid land, and many shall stumble, but these escape from his hand, Edom and Moab, and the chief of the sons of Ammon. And he shall stretch out his hand against the lands, and the land of Mitzrayim shall not escape. And he shall rule over the treasures of gold and silver, and over all the riches of Mitzrayim, and Libyans and Cushites shall be at his steps. Then reports from the east and the north shall disturb him, and he shall go out with great wrath to destroy and put many under the ban. And he shall pitch the tents of his palace between the seas and the splendid set-apart mountain, but shall come to his end with none to help him. Chapter 12. Now at that time Mikael shall stand up, the great head who is standing over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of distress, such as never was since there was a nation, until that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one who is found written in the book. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth wake up, some to everlasting life, and some to reproaches, everlasting abhorrence. and those who have insight shall shine like the brightness of the expanse, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Dani'el, hide the words, and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall diligently search, and knowledge shall increase. Then I, Dani'el, looked and saw two others standing, one on this bank of the river, and the other on that bank. And one said to the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, "How long until the end of these wonders?" And I heard the man dressed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, and he held up his right hand and his left hand to the heavens, and swore by him who lives forever, that it would be for an appointed time, appointed times, and half a time. And when they have ended scattering the power of the set-apart people, then all these shall be completed. And I heard, but I did not understand, so I said, "My master, what is the latter end of these matters?" And he said, "Go, Dani'el, for the words are hidden and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be cleansed and be made white and refined. But the wrong shall do wrong, and none of the wrong shall understand, but those who have insight shall understand. And from the time that which is continual is taken away, and the abomination that lays waste is set up, is 1,290 days. Blessed is he who is waiting earnestly, and comes to the 1,335 days. But you, go your way till the end, and rest, and arise to your lot at the end of the days." End of the Book of Dani'el, or Daniel. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this recording. If you did, and you would like to hear more recordings like these, feel free to subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day.